I just love paths. They somehow bring a sense of order into an area of chaos. And if you just look down that path, it kind of disappears. So there's a kind of magical side to it as well. Such a wonderful metaphor of life. Somebody's been there before.
Yes.
So there's a sense of security, even though you're going into the unknown for yourself. So it has all these kinds of stories attached to it. The great mystery, the unknown, but somebody's been there before, showing you the way.
I love that. You're making me feel very secure as we set off.
No, that's exactly what I feel about paths.
Take us back to where you remember this sense of the being drawn to the mystery and the unknown and so on.
I was brought up in a place a little bit like this. It was a forest. And as a child, we used to run into the forest and play in the forest. And then when I was 12 years old, my parents brought me a microscope.
Okay.
And I can still remember taking this microscope. It was in this lovely wooden box. And I opened the box and took the microscope out and caught a fly and put the fly under the microscope. And suddenly I was transported into another world. There was this fly I can still remember its eyes looking at me and these little hairs it had on its feet and this beautiful color that was transmitted by the wings. And I thought, how come nobody told me about this before? So I was just fascinated by the flies. And then of course, there were all these other insects and leaves that I looked at, and that opened a complete world for me that I didn't even know there was. And I thought, look at that. This world is full of mystery. And that was really my first insight into something that was so special about the world. And I thought that my eyes and my ears were somehow limiting factors. They weren't showing me things.
Okay.
And I needed this microscope to go deeper into this other world.
You're a scientist, and yet we're already talking about mystery and the unknown and so on, which I suspect has drawn a lot of scientists. The way you're talking about that fly, I'm not getting the classic scientist, I wonder how many little things there are on that wing, or I wonder how I could measure that. You were taken by the wonder of these expanded senses.
Scientists are also full of wonder and awe when they start to examine things, because the world is more mysterious than we think it is. A good scientist is always going into the unknown. I think I was about 15. Max Colley came to our school. And Max Colley was the best known hypnotist at the time in South Africa.
Oh, really?
And I can still remember sitting in the audience and watching people come up to be hypnotized.
Yeah.
And then this man that was the father of one of my friends went up. And he was a really uninteresting guy. But he went up onto the stage.
Yeah.
And under hypnosis, the hypnotist gave him a broom and said to him that this broom is the most beautiful woman you've ever seen. Dance with her. And this man took this broom and danced across the stage with this broom. It was so beautiful to watch. And I thought, what's happened? This man, what's happened to him? Here he is dancing on the stage with this broom in the most beautiful way. And I thought, human beings have a mystery too. So not only did I find from the microscope that there was a great mystery, there was another mystery in human beings. They had something they didn't even know about, but under hypnosis it emerged. And that started me on another trip of what's going on inside human beings that's not obvious, and yet we all seem to have this magic.
Yeah.
And we don't even know about the magic. As a child, I saw magic in nature, and somehow my mind was always inquiring. Even now, I look at the river flowing and think, the river wants to say something to me. It's not just nothing. There's communication going on between nature and me, and these questions kept coming up. Who am I?
Yeah.
What am I? And where am I?
So 15 years old is quite a fertile moment in one's sort of the evolution of one's brain and your mind. Where did you go next with that sense that, whoa, there's something much more going on here? So presumably you were a good student at school and all that?
Yeah, I was okay. I was okay. Eventually, when I left school, I then went into actually my father's direction, which was business. But that totally bored me. I went to a vocational guidance person and they said that we can see that you're really interested in life, you know, and...
Oh, wow, they don't normally spot things.
Well, they did, and they said to me maybe I should do science.
Yes.
And I decided to do medicine because the lady said to me, unless you're brilliant, you're going to end up cleaning test tubes if you do a BSc. Whereas if you do medicine, you can be in charge of your own laboratory. So that's why I did medicine. It wasn't to be a doctor.
Oh, really?
It was to investigate humans being, because I was fascinated. I can still remember in my last year of medicine writing a paper on mind-body medicine. Somehow it seemed that the mind was more powerful than I was told. And also medicine, somehow you went into the body. So there was also this mystery of going into the body and into the mind.
How did you persuade them to let you study the mind-body relationship? That sounds quite...
Well, it wasn't that they allowed me to do it. I did it. All these things were just opening up realities for me and recognizing that there were other spaces that I could go to.
Yeah.
First of all, there was matter, and there was that space that scientists were going into, looking for the basic building blocks of matter. And then there was the psychological sides and the recognition that there was something inside. I saw that man dancing on the stage. I never forgot it. It was a magical moment of seeing somebody dancing on the stage that I thought was uninteresting, and yet it was so beautiful.
Yes.